Absolutely. And your soul knows what your purpose is. It's just that we have been so good at tuning it out or listening to our inner critic and really just not trusting the process. I believe that when we take action, we are so blessed because then these things come into our lives and having the right mindset too. I had to start asking myself as I've gotten older, is this something that I really love to do? Or is this what I think society expects from me?
Hi, and welcome to Beyond Empty Nest. I'm your host, Jody Silverman, speaker, mentor, and Chief Dare Officer at Moms Who Dare. Every Thursday, I'll share stories of midlife transformation, happiness tips, and dare you to see the opportunities waiting for you so that you can make this next chapter even better than the last. If you're ready to dare, I'm ready to dare with you. Let's get into today's episode. So one of the most common struggles moms face as their children leave the nest is a profound sense of loss, feeling unneeded and questioning their purpose. But it doesn't have to be this way. Today, we'll explore practical steps you can take to prepare for this transition. And if you're already experiencing it, how to regain your sense of purpose and move forward with confidence. Because my guest today is Karla Olson, author, speaker, and former co-host of the Park City Pulse TV show. Karla is an expert on preparing for life after kids and founded the Empty Nester Club to help other parents make the most of this new chapter in their lives. Her one-of-a-kind blueprint for helping mothers rediscover their passion and prepare ahead for their children leaving the nest is featured in her new book, The Almost Empty Nester. But her favorite title is Mom to Three Daughters. Welcome to Beyond Empty Nest, Karla.
Hi, Jody. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so honored I get to be on your show, and I just love what you're doing. It's great.
Well, we have a lot of synergy, and as this is airing, it's only about a month or two that there are a lot of moms out there that are newly empty nesters or partial empty nesters, and there's a whole nother group of moms getting ready to become in the spring.
Yep.
So this could not, my meeting, you could not have come at a better time. So I'm so happy we connected. I think you found me. Whatever
Yep.
happened, I'm happy we
It
connected.
was the universe. I don't know.
It
I
is
just found you, I think.
totally the universe. And those of you who follow me know that woo side of me. I believe the universe brings people
Yeah.
and opportunity to us whenever we are ready and open for it. And guess what? To our audience members, this is an opportunity right now because Karla is going to share with you, how can you define your next chapter before your kids leave the nest? But I don't want those of you to worry that have already had your kids leave. The same
Hmm.
tips can be implemented right now for you. So before we dive into, the topic of today, you got to share your empty nest story. Like, how did this
Yeah.
all come to be?
Yep. So it was June of 2019, and I have three daughters, and she was graduating, and all I heard that day on the field was, "Oh my gosh, you're almost an empty nester." Other people were saying that, and then some people, because their youngest was graduating, were becoming empty nesters for the first time. But I thought, oh, I don't have to worry about that. I still got 6 years until my youngest one leaves. Well, flash forward 3 years, and my second daughter's graduating, and I still could not answer the question, what do I want to do when my children aren't around every day? I mean, it went by so quickly. So I started looking into empty nesting. Then I really dug into the research, and no one talked about preparation. And there was a direct correlation between happiness in the empty nest and people that prepared for it versus the procrastinated ones. And so I kind of knew right then and there that I had to start preparing before my last child left to kind of rediscover my passion and purpose and really listen to those soul whispers, like the things I've always wanted to do that are like beach balls that you kind of keep underwater because we're so busy being moms. And they just kept popping to the surface. And so I just started kind of working on some passion projects that were important to me and really enjoying my last year with my youngest child. But I've really started to turn some of that love back into myself. And so this time around, when she moves out, I know I'll still be on a roller coaster, but I'll be much more prepared for it because I feel like a whole individual again. I'm nurturing my own needs as well.
I love that. I love how you use the word your soul whispers.
Yeah.
I too realized when my daughter was a senior in high school and my son was a freshman that it was not going to be, too long before the entire nest was empty. And just having my one child leave first, that leaves
Yeah.
space. And
Yep.
I realized that, and I sat there and I listened to my soul whisper, and I know, remember it said, what you're doing is not what you want to be doing, but I didn't know
Yep.
what I wanted to do.
Yep.
Just
Right.
that, we talked just before a minute ago about the universe, and I want to hear what your thought is on this, but just by bringing it to your conscious awareness and recognizing you're going to have this space, you're going to have this time, what do I want to do with it? For me, that right there allows opportunity and ideas to come to the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And your soul knows what your purpose is. It's just that we have been so good at tuning it out or listening to our inner critic and really just not trusting the process. I believe that when we take action, we are so blessed because then these things come into our lives and having the right mindset too. I had to start asking myself as I've gotten older, is this something that I really love to do? Or is this what I think society expects from me?
Big
And I think
question.
the more that we follow that first hint of what do I truly want, it's like these blessings come into our lives that we couldn't have even thought were possible. And so it helps you really know that you're on the right track. But yeah, I just call them soul whispers because they've always been there, those little nagging, like one of mine is, you should sing, you should sing. And so one time I listened to one of my soul whispers and I tried out for X Factor and I was so nervous. Yeah, I was so nervous. I had my inner critic was on fire. And I said, okay, I'm going to drive to the stadium. And if there's a parking spot, there's 55,000 people in Seattle that were trying out. And I'm not kidding you. A parking lot, a spot opened up right in front of the stadium. So
Ah.
then I was, right. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to try out, but I have to figure out what two songs I'm going to sing. I don't have headphones. I'm going to be sitting around for hours because it takes like 12 hours. I kid you not. I opened up my driver's seat door and there was a brand new pair of little white headphones right next to the door.
Oh yeah,
So anyway, long
universe
story
was
short,
screaming it. Yeah, go ahead. What'd you do?
yeah. So my ticket number was section 121, row 21, seat one. And whenever I'm on the right path, I always get the number 21 to pop up. And sure enough, that day I got a golden ticket. I mean, I couldn't believe it. They were sending home terrible singers. But I think that's the point is you don't get rewarded on perfection. You get awarded in life, I believe, by taking action on your purpose. Because I think a lot of times people are afraid to pick one thing, but it's really the expectations that they're tying to that one thing. That one thing could have a ripple effect or a ping pong. It'll ping pong you toward your purpose. So I just really hope women in midlife like get rid of that fear of like I've always wanted to play guitar or I've always wanted to write a book. Just do it and you'll end up somewhere better than you could have ever envisioned.
I'm going to tell you right now, like I'm taking my pen. If you hear this noise, if you're not watching, it's a drop a mic moment, but I'm not dropping my Blue Yeti mic because it was too expensive.
We
I
need to get you a mic.
I mean, that was like, that's it. We know we need not to talk, and even though I'm only kidding. But it's true because what's the worst thing that could have happened is
Yeah.
you didn't get a golden ticket, but you did it. You did it.
Yep.
And now you stepped out of your comfort zone. That is a typical example, exactly what I mean when I say daring. Daring is
Yes.
moving into action. And I love that you did that. What a daring move. And you
It was
also
very
paid
daring.
attention to the signs that were being shown to you, the parking spot and the seat number. And I love that whole story. So
And I think too, one of the things also it did for me is a long time ago, like years before that, a woman came up to me and said, "You are such a bright light. You have such a beautiful soul and a lovely voice, but I wouldn't shine too brightly. I'd be careful with that." And so I instantly shut down and I didn't sing for years.
oh,
And so, but that's okay because that's in my book. We do a lot of soul scrubbing, because I don't want people to have these limiting beliefs as they go into their empty nest years. But that was one thing for me. I was like, gosh, I didn't need to believe her. I mean, that was more about her than me. And so now I'm singing all the time now, even in the shower. And I just feel so good to be back in the light. So,
I love that you're not dimming a light. And Karla, we have a lot in common with that. I felt like I had to dim my light for other reasons. That's a
mhm.
whole other episode. Because people say the same thing to me about My God, your energy is so infectious. I love being around you. You make people feel good. And yet I had somebody once say to me a number of times because of somebody else in my life that had trouble shining herself. It's not all about you. It's not all about you. That's not a nice thing to
Right.
say. That's a really
No.
incredible thing to say. And I took that as, well, maybe I'm too much, and I wasn't too much. I'm extra,
Yeah.
sure, but I also
Yeah.
am very appropriately extra. And so I love that. I love that you shared that, because for anybody listening that has worried about being too extra, too bright, you can't be too bright, because if you're bright
No.
enough, you will shine your light on somebody else.
Absolutely, especially your children. And so I think empty nesting also is such an important time. It's not just about them. I know we're so proud of our kids, but it's also about us. And because it's a job well done. Happy kids need independence. And I know it's hard when, we don't have that daily love. They're not in our lives daily. Like I think of it like running a race. Like 18 years ago, we were past the baton. We've been running, 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 doing laundry, shopping, cooking. And then all of a sudden we pass the baton to our kid and we're not running anymore. And so the rhythm of our life definitely changes, even if we have jobs. But I also think it's a great time to really slow down and be like, what does success mean for me? Because in my middle age, if you asked me in my 20s, I would have wanted to be the next Whitney Houston or something. That's what success meant to
Well, I
me.
cannot wait to
And
hear
right now,
it. Okay.
right now, success for me is just learning how to play guitar. I'm so clunky. My husband's great at it, but I'm learning to play guitar. I've always wanted to do that. And I want to write, I just want to sing one of the hundreds of songs that I've written for my family over the campfire. That's it. That would just be a huge win for me. Like, I don't need to be on stage. It's not about that. And so, you know, one of the things I do in the book is I have the mom that we are today they go find their very first Mother's Day picture or their very first picture with their baby in the hospital. And I have the mom that we are today write a letter to that younger woman and say, remind me of your dreams. Like, and then also I have the woman that,
Stop right there. Stop right there, because we're getting into, this is the preparation part, right? This is what
okay, yes,
I want.
yes,
I want to make sure that our audience is following us. So we're about to dive into, you know, the steps or the strategies or the process or the tools that Karla outlines in her book for you,
yes,
if you don't have an empty nest, how you can start preparing now. And for
yeah,
those of you that maybe, didn't prepare and we're all caught up in the loss and
yeah,
leading up to, you can start this now. So, okay. So
100%.
I love this. Say it again. So in this book, one of the first things
Yeah.
you have is a mom who's about to be an empty nester, or maybe you are, grab that picture of them holding their baby for the first time.
Yeah. And then I'll give some context around that quickly. So the book is written into three sections. There's the past section, because we take time and look back at our motherhood journey. There's the present, we assess and evaluate where we are today. And then there's a future where we create a future version of ourselves, what we want our empty nesting years to look like about a year or two from now. And then we back into that. So in the past section, I have the mothers that we are today write a letter to that brand new mom that didn't know a thing, and then we tell her how much she's learned, how much she's grown, some obstacles that she ran into, how she got through that with grit and grace. And it really sort of ties together this. I mean, when's the last time you took took a minute to look back at a picture of when you were first a mother?
Yeah.
We're just on autopilot all the time. And I think it's such a beautiful way to bring closure to that chapter, but also integrate that woman into who we are today.
Yes.
Because I want that. I became a mom at 30. I want that 30-year-old to follow her dreams today. And so now that we have more time in empty nesting to do that, I'm really honoring that younger person that I was that has given her heart and soul to her family. And so I just love that exercise and giving the mom the perspective and the gift of looking back at their highlight reel, that what they've loved
Yeah.
about being a
I love
mother.
that.
So
I love that. So that's one
yeah,
past part. And then you go to
yeah.
the present.
Yeah. So what we do is we kind of go through the past. My favorite part in the past is when you get feedback from your kids. Chapter 4 is like my favorite. But in the present, what we do is we help people identify, I call them the 10 C's, and it's a play on the Empty Nester Club. But there's 10 lettered words. And I ask people, like, if you don't know what you want to do, think about what you're convicted about, or what do you converse about? Like, what could you talk about all day long easily? How do you like to give back to your community? Just there's all these words, and it really helps them identify one thing. So from that list, I have them pick their top five, and then I have them dive deep with a couple more questions. And so for me, it was learn guitar, sing, write a book, help women, something about women and kids. I had five of them, but clearly my one thing boiled up to the top, and that was to write a book because it touched on all the 10 C's. It touched on community, it touched on communication, it touched on conversation. I was contributing to something to society. So in the present section, we really help the mom identify what's possible. And we also kind of clear out some old tools and limiting beliefs because we want to make sure that she's dreaming big. So,
Love that. I love that.
yeah.
Start, and it's similar. It's like there's lots of, I love that. So you're going to, first of all, talk to your past self, your new mom self, and
Mm-hmm.
and look in the past and share what you loved about her and what she's
And
not.
thank her.
Then you're going to,
Yeah.
yeah, and thank her. And now you're going to look at your present self of what matters
Mm-hmm.
most to you. It's almost like getting to your core values, like what matters
Yes.
most. How do you want to feel almost in your life? How do you want to feel in
Yeah.
your community? How do you want to feel as a woman? How do you want to feel as a self? I love that.
Yeah.
And then you go to the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. So then I think, and there's a lot of psychology behind this and science, but now the mom is at an elevated state, right? They've really taken time to review all these awesome things and gotten wonderful feedback. Now they're in a place to actually scientifically better create their next chapter because they are coming at it from an elevated emotional state. And so what we do is we define what that future vision is for their empty nesting. And then we sort of develop a game plan of how to get there. I think a lot of people know that they want to do something, but they don't really know that compounded effect over time is what really gets you to the goal, right? And we talk about what a new goal is. Like it's never to reach 100%. I tell moms, your 100% now, your new 100% is 80%. Because I think so many people, like if they're trying to do, diet and they have one bad day, they just quit. But it's really compounded effort consistently over time that's going to get you everything you want in your empty nesting years. And we also talk about taking baby steps to get there, not these like, I'm going to go outside and run 5 miles. Like, no, today I'm just going to go walk 10 minutes because it doesn't trigger the brain to just back out. Because if you trigger the brain too much, it's going to get you to sabotage yourself. So you have to trick your brain. It's like a little bouncer. You got to slip through the bouncer.
Oh, I love that.
So,
I love it. It's like if you have this big goal,
yeah.
break it down into
Mm-hmm.
little bite-sized little action
Yes.
steps because
Yes.
it's so true because it is the little things consistently done over time that yield huge
Yes.
results. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love
Ask
that.
any professional athlete, ask any actor. It's all the little things that they do consistently over time, but they
Absolutely.
don't beat themselves up if they don't hit 100%. So,
So I want to touch on a couple things before we have to start wrapping up. But okay, so I love the process. And by the way, the book, The Almost Empty Nester, can be found everywhere, Amazon, your
yes.
website, everywhere,
Yep.
right? We have it,
Yep.
we will have it linked in the show notes below. But
Perfect.
it's available now. Grab a copy. We have something special coming up in a minute that Karla's going to tell you. But I do want to talk about for those moms, because what you shared is good for both the mom who's thinking about emptiness and absolutely really valuable for the mom who is already there and just feels just, where do I even begin? I love that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something though, that if you are out there and your kids have not left yet, but you're getting ready for one or all of them to leave, you talk about, and I love this one, prioritizing your individuality. You say prioritizing your individuality is important. I'm obviously having trouble with that word.
That's okay.
Individuality. I can't, oh, just make it. But talk a little bit about, to the moms who are getting ready, or even moms that have kids that are listening to this and maybe have kids in middle school still, or just freshmen in high school,
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
saying, but I can't, I'm so busy with my kids, I can't.
Yeah.
What do you say to them about the importance of that?
I think for me, just sharing my personal journey is I love being a mom. I think it's one of the most sacred jobs on the planet.
Yep.
And but for some reason, whether I was hiding behind my busyness or I have this habit of putting everyone else before me. And I started to fade into the background of my life a little bit. And I didn't want my children to see that anymore. And so when my second daughter went off to college, I just woke up one day with this unshakable desire for self-discovery. Like who am I at 54 and what do I want to do? And so I work with my therapist, and we came up with this anchoring statement that said, I will never abandon myself for anyone ever again, because what matters to me matters also. So I was in the habit of helping other people reach all their dreams, and I love to see my friends succeed. I just wasn't doing any of that for myself. And so I think if I could go back in time, I think my daughters for the last few years just saw a little bit smaller version of myself because I was kind of dimming my own light. Whereas moms, whatever stage we're in, middle kids or middle high school, they've already been out of the house for years. This is really to awaken every mom to just rediscover what she wants in midlife. It can be for anyone that just knows in their soul that they have a gift to give to the world. And quite honestly, the world needs your gifts like yesterday.
Amen, sister. There you go. We're now entering the church revival here. No, I mean, no, I had to say that because that's like the first, it's so true. And
Yeah,
you also shared, thank you. You said my therapist, and we all need support, whether it's a
absolutely.
therapist or whether it's a Karla Olson, her book and her program, whether it's
Yep,
joining the Moms Who Dare, whether it's your BFF who you turn to all the time. Life's a team sport.
it is.
And
And also,
we
I
get
think
to
to
be
that
the
point,
captain of our own team.
I
And
love that.
we get to be the captain of our own team, and then we get to choose who's on the bench and who comes into the huddle. I heard this woman, Sheldon, is the one who used that analogy once, like who's in your huddle?
Yeah,
I say who's on your bench.
yes, I
So,
love it.
but you
Well, I think too, one of the
okay.
things I'd like to say too is as we're talking about friends, and we talk about this in my book, is when like your friend comes to you and they're like, I have this idea, and you can all of a sudden see every single possibility for her.
Yes.
But when it's something you want to do, you see all the roadblocks. So in my book, I teach people to see their empty nest as through the lens of their best friends.
Oh,
See the rest of your life through the lens of your best friend, and always make yourself one of your very best friends. I am now one of my best friends because I'm a good friend to others, but I need to be my own best friend. And so I've started to talk to myself different, treat myself different, and even my kids notice it. So I
yes.
just am wearing my bestie glasses, I call them. I put on my bestie glasses if I'm having a bad day.
But you said that's another thing. Your kids are still watching. You don't
Yeah.
think they are, but they are. And
Hmm.
there's so much in it. Number one, we're always teaching. They're always learning. I have a t-shirt I wear,
Yes.
motherhood, a life sentence with a big heart. Some people like it, some it's my humor, but it is, and it's a life
It is.
sentence in so many good ways. It's a play
Yeah.
on words for me. But
Yeah. I love it.
your kids are watching, they get it, and they're proud of you. I'm sure they're proud of
Yeah.
you. And you're
Yes.
showing your daughters what's
Yeah.
possible.
And what's so funny? We've had a couple people go through the book like in a beta program, and all of a sudden we're having to write a companion book for it, just a little booklet for either your husband or your partner, because all of a sudden these husbands and companion or partners are saying like, you've changed so much. Like, so we want to let them know what your wife is about to go through.
I love this. I love this. All right. So, you know, preparation by reviewing the past, the present, and the future, allowing yourself, I have a mantra in our group, it's dare on.
I
And
love it.
dare on, there's four things that this mantra, my wish for this mantra does for people. And the fourth one is move you into action. And
I
like
love it.
you were saying, so, your book is all about daring on, but doing, reflection before you can dare on, and then dare on with little
Yes.
tiny steps. Daring isn't this big thing. And I
No.
just love what you're doing. So, start preparing early, start thinking about the things, bring your dreams to the surface again. It's not selfish. I love what you said, be your own best friend.
Hmm.
I absolutely see your dreams, see your goals, see the things you want to do and become through the lens of your best friend and become your own bestie. I love that. Be your own best friend. That's like the biggest, you have so many good things here. Love this.
Oh, good.
So before we get into a fun giveaway that you are going to give to three lucky listeners, and the
Yeah.
dare you have for anybody. Is there anything you want to leave the soon-to-be empty nester or the empty nest mom with? Any parting words before we dive into that?
I think too, no matter what stage you're at, saying goodbye is not letting, you're not letting your children go. It's not a goodbye. It's just going to change. And so you're still going to be impacting your children way beyond when they're in your nest. They're still going to check in with you. It's just a different relationship, and it's a beautiful relationship too. Obviously I miss my little kids running around, but talking to my adult daughters for hours is just such a gift. And so I'm really trying to enjoy this phase, accept that it is a little bit different, but different can be good. That's an opportunity for change. And I've noticed with the pockets of time that I have, I'm starting to do new things with my husband, new things for myself. I found even some new friend groups. I have an author group meetup that I do now that I never had before. And it's just, there's a lot of joy in the journey.
A lot of joy in the journey. Oh, I like that. Okay. Joy in the journey. And Karla's here to support you, and everything
Mhm.
you need to connect with Karla, to grab her book, to reach out to her is in the show notes below. I promise. And if you think about something later and you can't get back to the show notes, you shoot me an email. I will forward your name and email, and I'll connect you with Karla. So Karla, you do have a very generous giveaway for 3 lucky listeners. So tell them a little bit about what this is about.
Yeah. So what I'd love to offer three lucky listeners is if you want to email Jody, all her information is below, but I would like to offer to drop into your book club. So if you're going to go through this book with girlfriends, which I highly recommend because it's 21 chapters, and after every chapter, there's about 10 reflection exercises. There's an accompanying journal that goes with it, but you'll want to have a journal because you will have a huge transformation, and it's so fun to go through that transformation with others. But I'd love to drop in on your book club and talk to you after you've all read the book and just give you some feedback. And I'd love to hear about your soul whispers that you picked. And we call it in the book, the one thing that you're going to work on. I'm always asking people, what's your one thing? What's your one thing?
All
So
right.
I'd love to drop into three, yeah, virtual book clubs.
So here you go. There's going to be a dare and there's a double dare here. I just decided.
Yes.
The dare is to, if you have a book club, make the book the Almost Empty Nester your book club book for your next, after the one you're reading now. If you don't have a book club, gather your mom friends, gather your fellow mom friends, call your local your kids' high school and ask the PTO if they'll put together some.
Yes.
Order the
Yeah.
book, have it for your book club, and the first 3 listeners who email me, jody@momswhodare.com, it's below in the show notes. The first ones to email me that you have a book club and when your book club is, will be connected with Karla, and Karla will drop in to your book club. She'll make arrangements with
Yeah.
you. That's huge. Love that.
Yep.
Your second, which is your double dare, has to do with what Karla's been calling your soul whisper. And do you want to share what that is, or do you want me to?
I do, yeah. So, because we talked a little bit about breaking
Yeah.
our big dreams down into just small baby step actions. So, I'd love for your listeners to just write out 10 things that they think their soul that they've always wanted to do, and then pick one. Just pick one of those. Trust your gut. You're not going to pick the wrong one. And then spend about 30 or 40 minutes just researching how you could get started on that. There's so much out on YouTube that's for free. There's so much, local libraries or even like our schools offer classes. My mom is 90 and she takes 3 college classes every month. It's amazing. But just really identify that one soul whisper that you've been putting on the back burner a little bit, because I promise it's never going to go away and it's time to get started working on it.
I love that. I love that. So
And
Dare,
let us know what that is. Drop that in
yeah,
feedback on the socials. My
absolutely.
socials are theemptynesterclub.com. That's how to find me. But yeah, we'd love to
That's
hear
it.
what your soul whisper is. So
Yeah, absolutely. We love when you share with us because it just it fills our heart. We are your biggest cheerleaders, right, Karla? We're your biggest
mhm.
cheerleaders we will be the ones to hold the space like your best friend for you
I love it.
and cheer you on along the way. And that's
Thank you.
but Karla, thank you so much for being part of Beyond Empty Nest. And you shared a lot of really great wisdom. I'm looking forward to diving into the book myself. And I don't know, maybe I'll be the fourth Book club.
Book club.
Who
I love
knows?
it.
Bring the book
Who
club back to
knows?
Moms Who Double Dare. But so what was your takeaway? What was the takeaway? There were so many good nuggets in this conversation with Karla. And you know what? We love to hear from you. So drop me an email, reach out to Karla, on social media or her website. Let us know what your takeaway was from this episode, because that's our mission. Our mission is to make an impact in your life and the lives of women and moms everywhere. And
Yep.
don't forget that next week there'll be another episode of Beyond Empty Nest waiting for you. There's well over 70 episodes, so tune in, binge watch, let us know. And as I always say, dare on. Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond Empty Nest. For detailed show notes and more information, be sure to visit jodysilverman.com. Have you heard of the Double Dares? Well, we're a community of moms and midlife women blending virtual and in-person interactions for connection, support, and exciting experiences. From Mommy and Me classes to soccer sidelines, moms have always found strength in community. And as we navigate the empty nest and other midlife transitions, having that go-to safe space and other women to lean on is a must. Ladies, this is not the chapter to do it alone. Our drama-free group echoes the sentiment of the Cheers theme song, a place where everybody knows your name and our troubles are all the same. If you've been seeking connection and have a desire to figure out who you are and what your purpose is now, then Moms Who Double Dare is the perfect fit for you. Only through the link in our show notes below can you explore and enjoy the first month at half off. Plus, with no contracts, there's zero risk involved. Join us today and get started on your journey of self-discovery, surrounded by new friends who understand and get you. You've sent your kids off to brave new experiences, meet new people, and discover who they get to be. Now, it's your turn. It's your turn to embrace this new adventure. If you're ready to dare on, I'm here to lead the way. Let's embark on this exciting journey together. Click the link below, and as I always say, dare on.